Hey YouTube, it's your girl Razia J and I'm back with another video. If this is the first time that you are landing on my channel and seeing my face, welcome. And if you have been rocking with Ray, thank you so much for your continual support. It means the world to me. It really does. It really does. Guys, I'm super excited because it's August. School is about to start for my social work students. And if you know anything about me and this channel, I am super passionate about social work as a profession, but I'm even more passionate about students thriving and succeeding and doing great things as students as they prepare to enter into the profession. I think that being a student lays a great foundation on how your profession is going to pan out. So this video is a video about what social work is. So if you are a new student, if you are a undeclared major in undergrad and you are trying to figure out what in the world is social work because you're just lost, this is the video for you. So stay tuned. So yes, guys, like I said, this video is one that I really was excited about recording because I love the profession, and it may be because I'm a fresh social worker and I just graduated and my eyes are not tainted to a lot of the things that other people may see. I am not blind to the disparities and the changes that need to be made in this profession, but I would always tell anyone, if you come to me and you say you want a degree in psychology, or you want a degree in public health, or you want a degree in health administration, I would try to persuade you to get a degree in social work, because this field is so broad that you can literally do anything with a degree in social work. And I'm trying to record this video before the sun goes all the way down and the lighting gets a little bit more funky. So let's get right into it. So many may ask, what is social work? Like, what is social work? When you ask someone what is social work, they might tell you like, oh, someone who takes someone's kid, someone who works at a hospital, someone who works at a school as a guidance counselor. You'll get a series of answers that are usually the universal answers. When you ask someone what is social work, the first thing they tell you is they take people's kids or they work for CPS. And I wanted to come in with a definition because if you know me, I love a good definition. So as per the NASW, it states that social work is the helping profession. The primary mission of the social work profession is to enhance human well-being and to help meet basic and complex needs of all people, with a particular focus on those who are vulnerable, oppressed, and living in poverty. And I would say that definition is accurate, but I would say that it's missing a key component. Social workers are also advocates. We are also policy makers, policy writers. We are also change agents. So yes, a bulk of the profession, maybe 82%, I'm making that number up, works in this setting where they are helping oppressed and people living in poverty. But there are social workers that do so much more. The field is so broad, which is something that really stood out to me about the profession of social work. When I first started on this journey to social work, I had a lot of misconceptions. And I remember I was in my social work practice class after I had declared my major, and I was like, I don't want to do therapy, and I don't want to take anybody's kids, and I don't want to do no casework or no case notes. So this profession is not for me. And I remember my professor sitting down with me and showing me what social work really is. And if I was to define it on my own, I would say social work is a profession that looks at people, individuals, families, and communities with a lens of person in their environment. So this individual in their environment, this family in their environment, this community in their environment, and advocates for better quality of life for this person so that they can become the best version of themselves. Social workers, we strive to not make people do things, but to help people see what works best for them If you know anything about this profession, you know that we are governed by a series of code of ethics that I am going to share later in this video. But social work is a helping profession. We help people, and those people can be individuals on a one-on-one basis. It can be a family, which is like a group. It can be a community, which is also a group, or it can be a population at large. And we can work with people across the board. It's about helping people become better versions of themselves. And I think a lot of people think of social workers and they think about therapists and they think about direct practice and taking people kids. And that's not all it is to this profession. According to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, this profession is gauged to grow by 12% between 2020 and 2030. So we are already in 2022. That means we have 8 more years to see this rapid growth in this profession. If you are a student and you are now starting out, the beauty in that is that as this profession grows and we start to solidify title protection, and we start to solidify that we deserve to get paid more, and we start to advocate for certain things, you're going to reap the benefits of that profession which you are starting out in. And another thing that I want people to know about social workers is that we work everywhere. There is not a place that a social worker can't work, because they are transferable skills that social workers have. And I think that that's the beauty of this profession, this transferable skills that we learn in school, you know, person in the environment, right? We learn CBT skills, and CBT doesn't just have to be therapy, right? It helps you resolve conflict in a better way, right? So let's say you have a coworker or a colleague and they are always perceiving or projecting certain things, right? Or they're always like thinking 10 steps ahead, but in a negative way, and things are always ruffling their feathers. Those CBT skills can come into play, because you can help them see how something triggers them, makes them think a thought, and then they behave based on that thought. And that is something that I love about the profession, is that although I didn't have like a micro track, I see those skills being useful for me as a social worker. So one of the things that I loved about this profession is our code of ethics. I love the fact that we have these code of ethics that all social workers should live by. We should take this oath that this is what we're going to do. So I really just wanted to share these code of ethics with you guys. So if you are considering a social work degree, know that social workers, we have a unique purpose, and that purpose is for service, social justice, dignity and worth of a person, importance of human relationships, integrity, and competence. Okay? We want people to understand what is going on, how they can fix it and make it better for themselves, and then how they can advocate not only for themselves, but for the people around them. I think one of the things that you will see when you interact with a social worker, if you have them as a therapist or as a friend, they're always trying to problem solve. And I love that for social workers. Our critical thinking skills are through the roof. And I think that when you go this way or this track in school, you realize that you think about life and you see things in a unique way. You see things in an abstract way. Another thing that they say about social work when it comes to the code of ethic is that the code of ethic identifies core values on which social work's missions are based. And some of those core values are service, like I said, social justice, dignity and worth of a person, importance of human relationships, integrity, and competence. And social workers are held to that standard. So when we interact with people, whether they're our clients, whether they're stakeholders, if we work in a macro track, or whether we work in a field like me, I'm an engagement coordinator, right? So when I meet people and I'm trying to see if they are a great fit for a presentation, I use all of those skills, right? What can they provide for me and the people that I am servicing? How are they going to teach them something that is tangible and necessary and needed to help them progress in their life? And then, is this person someone that we can rely on? Is this person operating from a place of integrity. And I think when it comes to code of ethics, whether your profession has them or not, it helps you to gauge and to think back to what you are doing and does it align with those code of ethics. Social work is also a profession that people deem as the head, the heart, and the hand. And I'm going to try to make this as clear as possible. The head is what we know. The heart is the moral compass of what is right and wrong. And the hands is we provide services, we provide help, we provide tools and resources. And I think if you are considering a profession in social work, or you are considering going to school for a degree in social work, you need to know what you're getting into, right? So if you are going for macro social work like myself, know that you are going to be working with legislators, you are going to be working with other nonprofits, you are going to be working with a lot of potential membership organizations. Some of the jobs that social workers do that are unique to us, I'm going to share. So some of the jobs that you can have as a social worker, and I think it's important to think about that if you are going down this path, think about the jobs, think about the potential jobs. So you can be a school social worker working in a school district or a school facility. You can be a criminal justice social worker working with lawyers, working with the police department, working with juvenile detention centers. You can be a medical social worker working in schools. You can be a social worker that also is in the medical field but working in oncology or not schools. You can be a medical social worker working in the hospital system, working with oncology patients, working with nursing homes, care managers, nurses. You can be a child and family social worker, and they usually work for like DIFUS or CPS, and they try to keep children with their family. And sometimes they do have to make hard choices, especially those that work in child welfare, because you're trying to keep the children with their family of origin. But then you have to ask yourself, is this family beneficial to this kid? Is this family going to take great care of this kid? And I can see why that can be challenging, but that is where some social workers work. You can be a therapist. You can have a private practice, right? You can also work in the macro space, which is what I do. I work for the NASW. I am an engagement coordinator. Some other social workers that work with me are executive directors. You can be a CMO. You can be a CEO. You can work in corporate spaces. You can work in banks. You can work in tech. You can work in clinical research as a social worker. And clinical research is not like research in the sense of you doing like hospital runs or stuff like that. You're doing clinical trials with people, and social workers can do that. If you want, you can go into teaching in the higher education level. You can become a professor. You can become a behavioral specialist. You can become an executive director. You can work in substance abuse. You can work in community outreach. You can work for many nonprofits doing various things. You can work as a policy analyst or a director of policy if your job has a director who does just policy work. And when you do policy work, that work is where you're looking at legislation, you're looking at bills, you're meeting with legislators, you're figuring out how to endorse candidates, you're figuring out how to get the message to like your community about voting, voting rights, voting registration. You spend your time looking at what's happening in your community and how you can advocate for change if something needs to be changed. Another thing about social work, it's one of those professions that I believe that has no religious bearings. I do think that religion sometimes skews things. So if you are going into the profession of social work and you are a student and you're very religious like me, I would say you have to ask yourself, what am I in this profession for? Am I in this profession to sway people to think the same way I think? Or am I in this profession to support individuals to do what is best for them based on what they believe and what they think is right? Now, if someone is telling me, hey, I want to sleep around with 1 million people just because I want to sleep around, or someone's telling me I want to endanger the life of other people because I don't like this race, it doesn't matter what I believe, right? I'm going to help them come to a decision that that is not right and you should not do that. But if someone is saying to me like, I love a female and I'm a female, or I want to get an abortion, I'm not going to say, no, you can't do that as a social worker. So if you are religious, it's something to consider going into this profession, that we are usually non-judgmental. Social workers are not out to make decisions for people. We are out to support people and give them resources so they can make the good decisions for themselves that will ultimately lead them to having a thriving, flourishing life. And sometimes social workers have to make hard choices because the people and the communities that we encounter, they need us to advocate for them. They need us to step in and make those choices because they're unable to make sound choices. So social workers also work there. I feel like this video is going in a circle, but just to drive it all home and to bring it all in, as a social worker, you cannot limit yourself, and you cannot limit the people that you are going to support and the people that are going to be your clientele. So coming into this profession, you have to really be strong about knowing why you want to do this, and following through with that. Remember your why. Remember why you went into this profession. Remember what led you to this profession. And if you have any questions and you would like me to do another video about what social work is, I can, because I am a little bit sick, but I really wanted to do this video. I hope this video found you in a great place, and I hope that it was helpful for you to understand a little bit more of what social workers do, what social work is, and if this profession is right for you. And one more thing, social workers, come here. Social workers are not broke. I'm gonna tell you, coming into this profession, a lot of people told me I wasn't gonna make no money and I was gonna be broke. And I was going to have to work multitudes of jobs, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jobs. And I'm here to tell you that that is not a narrative that you need to take into consideration when you're entering this profession. I believe in setting your expectations where you know that they need to be and allowing things to flow organically to meet those expectations. So if you are considering this profession, don't let anything or anyone within this profession scare you about how hard this profession is. I think every profession is hard. It's whether it's your hard, right? I think every degree that we're going to get is hard, right? Whether you are in the BSW or MSW program, it's going to be challenging. You're going to have to stretch yourself. You're going to have to learn, but you can do it. And if you are just considering a profession and you want to know where you can go and what degree would help you conquer the world, get a degree in social work. It's going to help you conquer the world. So until next time, peace.